Hey everyone, this is Miss Feaster, and in this video I want to show you how your AMP2 online class for lab is set up. First of all, here you see our home page. In the course navigation, you see the home is highlighted, but on the home page there are several items. Of course, you've probably looked at that because you've gotten to this video through this link that I've highlighted here. But these others, they're pretty self-explanatory. If you're curious about what operating systems are required, that's in this Are You Prepared link. Navigation links description, what that is, that tells you what all of these links on the left in your navigation bar are for. But mainly what I want to talk to you about in this video is this modules section um, and the syllabus section. So let's look at the syllabus first. If you click on this one, it's very important that you look at the two documents that I have listed here. The first one is, of course, the course syllabus, and it's got all of the rules and regulations. It tells you about the grading scale and the assignments, how they're weighted. It also gives you my contact information, and you can see both my phone numbers here are the same because I am retired from Hines and from campus work, but I just teach online now. I've taught at Hines for many, many years, but you can catch me at home. There's my phone number, and then of course my Hines email. I check my emails very frequently, so if you email me, that's uh, through the Canvas inbox is usually the best way to get in touch with me, and I'll respond just as soon as I can. But make sure you look at everything in the course syllabus, look at the attendance policy, what happens if you miss assignments, all of that is mentioned in the syllabus. Then this next section is your course schedule, and this will give you a week by week outline of which lab exercises we'll be covering and when the due dates are. Now, I want to draw your attention, if we look below this, if you've taken online classes through Canvas at Hines in the past, you'll know that in this course summary, everything you need to turn in is, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on there. Everything you need to turn in is listed here and when it's due. Do not count on this section as the only thing you need to do. There's a lot of prep work before turning in assignments. So I want to make sure that in this video, I'm sorry about all the blue highlights, y'all, but I want to make sure that you understand that you don't just go in and click on an assignment and turn it in. There's a lot of work to do prior to that. So if you click on the modules is the meat of your course, and pretty much everything you're going to need other than your lab manual is found in modules. Your lab manual, by the way, is an ebook, and in this first module, it will explain how to access that. All right, most of the links that you see here in the introduction module are similar, if not identical, to what you see in all of your Hines online classes through Canvas. They're put out by the e-learning department, and it's very important that you read through all of that and also take this orientation survey. That tells us that you're ready to take the class and you want to receive course credit. If you don't take this survey, you'll be dropped from the class, so make sure you read that. Also read the information about how to set up your ebook. And then we've got something new. If you've taken online classes before through Hines, this is very, very different. Because of all the changes that occurred this past spring, due to COVID-19 and campuses being closed, that just sort of put in disarray our proctored testing. But this summer, we have a new version of proctored testing. Every proctored test in your Canvas courses will be taken through this system called HonorLock. So this link explains that. You will not have to schedule these tests in my class. They're open. You can take them anytime during the open dates for the proctored test. So you don't have to schedule a proctored test ahead of time like you used to have to do. But you do take these on your home computer. Webcams are required. Speakers are required. And so read all about that in this proctored testing instructions. Once you've done that, there's a little practice quiz. This quiz will simply just It won't be for a grade, but it's real quick, but it will make sure that your computer is ready to go so that when you do take a proctor test, um, it will work properly for you. Okay, now I'm going to scroll on down. Once you've gotten through that, now you're ready to start A&P. And you'll see that I have a module for each one of the weeks. This first week, all these modules will be set up just alike. It'll have the dates of the week. It will tell you, what it's just sort of a generic objectives. But what's very important is this lab agenda. Make sure before you do anything each week that you read the agenda. It's going to direct you to the rest of this module. It will say, go in your lab book. We'll be working on, for example, exercises 30, 31, and 32. Well, you have your ebook, have that open, and then you'll see that I've put links for each of these. Now, this isn't the ebook. What this is my description to you of what to do with the lab exercise in your ebook. So here's the first one, and you can see on the instructions. Within each of these exercise links each week, I will give you detailed instructions about what to do in your ebook. Your lab manual is your ebook. It'll tell you what to do, um, and then I will always have a highlighted statement. And if you can do what's listed in this highlighted statement, then that's what you need to know for the upcoming lab test. We'll have 2 tests in A&P2 lab. They will both be proctored. That'll be through that AutoLot virtual proctoring system. But anyway, they'll come from the information in these exercises, those tests will. And this highlighted statement will tell you what from the exercises will be on the test. Now, on this particular one in the instructions where it says number 1, read through exercise 30 in your lab manual, then it's going to direct you to a particular procedure in that lab manual that I want you to do. All right, then on number 2, it says look at the exercise 30 slides. Well, if you'll scroll down, here it says exercise 30 slides. All right, I have a slide recording almost every time. If there's microscope slides to be looked at, I will have a slide recording. It'll be similar to this video. You'll hear my voice, you'll see slides, and I will walk you through what to look for in these slides. Then I'll also have some still images of other slides. Make sure that you look at all these. This is like looking at through the microscope. And these images you will possibly see on a weekly quiz and or a future lab test. You do not have to answer questions in your lab manual and turn those in to me, but they are good for your self-study. And so if you do that, here you can check the answers. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go back into the first module for the first week. My computer's running a little bit slow today. Let me scroll down to the week 1 module. So what you just looked at, what we just saw, was what I put in about exercise 30. The agenda for the week 1 lab agenda says this week we'll do 30, 31, and 32. So you'll see something similar for 31 and for exercise 32. Make sure you do all of that. Do what's said. And then if you scroll down in the graded assignments, you'll see links for graded things that you need to do. For example, in this first week, you'll need to take the orientation survey. There was already a link for that prior to this in the introduction module, but there's also a week 1 lab quiz. Now on these weekly lab quizzes, the questions in these quizzes come from the activities that I've highlighted or that I've asked you to do in these different exercises for the week. All right, and so learning that material will help you take these lab quizzes. The lab quizzes can be opened up all week long, so you can go in and out of them. I don't care if you print them out, but you have time if you don't wait to the last minute. You have time to make sure that you've got your answers just like you want them to be. Um, you once you submit a lab quiz, though, you will not be able to go back into it. So when you open a lab quiz, you can scroll through it, you can answer questions, and then just simply save and exit or back out of it so that you can get into it later. If you click a submit button, you will not be able to get back into the lab quiz and the grade will stand. Okay, so make sure you do that correctly. This orientation survey, you'll see in the instructions, you can submit it several times, but and the highest grade will hold. But in these weekly lab quizzes, there's only one submission. You can access it often up until the due date, but you can only click the submit button once. Okay. All right, and then I've got another activity for you to do. Um, this semester, you're going to be doing some virtual labs, some interactive virtual labs that are set up through our book publisher. And this first one is simply to get you used to how the virtual labs work. So when you go into it, you just follow the directions. It should be very self-explanatory. You may have to register the first time with an email. If you do, just use your Heinz email. You will not need any access codes or any of that for this. You don't have to pay extra for it. It's built into the Canvas course. But you make sure that you go through these virtual labs, just follow the directions, start on it early in the week. And as you go through it, if you've got an answer that's wrong, it's going to correct you so you can do it again. So there's no excuse not to get 100 on all these virtual labs, as long as you take the time on them. So this first week, these are your 3 graded assignments. You've got the orientation survey, the week 1 lab quiz, and then the virtual lab that you should do. Um, after this first week, you will see a module for future weeks. Okay, and I may not have all of these set up once on June 1 when classes start, but they will be set up as that week comes. So I'm changing how I'm doing the course this summer. So just be patient with me, but I will have every week set up. If you've got questions, don't hesitate to email me through your Canvas inbox over here. All right. So I think if you will just make sure that you follow what the agenda says for each week, you'll be fine. Everything that you need is going to be in that week's module. All right. Some of these other modules, you'll see that I have, like, here's an example in the week 3 module. I've got your agenda, I've got which exercises you're going to work on, the graded assignments, like these are some of those virtual labs. You'll be doing those. There's a lab quiz, and then this week is the when that first lab test will open up, so a link for it will be there. And so I've got all those directions. I'll have some bonus opportunities in the form of discussions, but all of that, don't get overwhelmed now, because each week everything will be explained in your weekly agenda. All right, so in this course, once you have read through the syllabus and gone through the introduction module, you'll be ready to go with week 1. And it's very important that you study, study, study all week long. Each week in these exercises, there might be structures you need to be able to label. You'll see in the quizzes, there's a lot of labeling. There's identifications of the microscope slides, which are called micrographs. But all of that information is found in your lab manual that you will study along with these exercise links. All right, I hope that you make an A in this course. That's my goal for you, and I know